Welcome to The Empowered Life. My name is Yvonne and this channel is all about bringing you content that's empowering, inspiring and encouraging. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified of any new uploads. And if you like the content that I share, please hit the thumbs up button. So in today's video, I just want to share with you a quick book review on a book I recently read. It's by Jim Rohn and this book is called 7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness. I picked this book up on eBay. I paid £6.83 for it. As you can see, it's quite a well-worn book, second-hand, retro style, early 80s, and I think that was part of the pull why I bought this book, but also because I have been watching on YouTube a lot of Jim Rohn's motivational talks. I don't usually pay that much for a book, but actually lately I seem to be paying a little bit over the odds for my books. Penny books seem to be going quite quickly nowadays, but with the wealth of knowledge that he shared in his talks, I figured it was worth it and that it would be a good buy. So for those of you who don't know, Emmanuel James Rohn, or Jim Rohn as he was known, was a businessman, entrepreneur and motivational speaker. As a matter of fact, he was probably one of the founding fathers of the whole motivational speaking movement in the early 80s, alongside Zig Ziglar, who was another well-known speaker. There's been quite a few of them that have come up from around the early 80s, and he went around sharing his knowledge, his wisdom on things he learned in his own life through his own experiences all over the world with different audiences. He had teaching tapes, which some of you might not know. In the 80s we had tape cassettes rather than CDs, and also videos as well that you could watch on your VCR. So, you know, he had a whole big business built around motivational speaking and empowering people. And I think he started his journey quite early on as a salesman for Herbalife. He started out as a 25-year-old salesman in an average job, working paycheck to paycheck, never having enough money for ends to meet every month, and he was tired of where his life was going. It was one day that changed his life, which was a catalyst for everything that he started to do. He had an encounter with a girl guide, or a girl scout as they're known in America, brownies if you're over here in the UK, where they were trying to raise money for charity and were selling boxes of cookies for $2 or £2 each. He couldn't afford it. And rather than tell this girl guide, this girl scout, that he couldn't afford the cookies, he told her he left his wallet at home. That encounter, that meeting, left him deeply embarrassed, and even though he was the only one that knew about it, he decided something had to change. It was during this time that he met somebody called Earl Sheoff. Now, I've looked up Earl Sheoff online, and from some of the videos I actually found on YouTube, they were in black and white, so it looks like early 60s, 50s, he was doing some type of speaking events. But Jim Rohn had this man, Earl Sheoff, as his mentor. And it was this mentorship partnership actually that began to turn around Jim's thinking. He started to set goals. He started to think about life in a different way. And rather than just sit and listen to what Earl had shared with him, he decided to apply the things that he was taught through this mentorship partnership to his life. So according to Jim, everybody inside of them has a foundation of prosperity that is waiting to be unleashed with. And he says that the 7 strategies for wealth and happiness are unleashing the power of goals, seeking knowledge, learning how to change, controlling your finances, mastering your time, surrounding yourself with winners, and learning the art of living well. So there are some fundamentals that Jim talks about, which are the principles of which everything is built on. And one of them he talks about in the first chapter is about discipline. This book came right at the right time of my discipline journey. If you've come on my channel, especially since the beginning of this year, I did a video called 2020 One Thing You Will Need to Succeed, and in that video I talk about how having discipline is the foundation for everything that you want to achieve. And I am learning a lot about discipline. It's been quite difficult in places, but that is only because I'm having to train my mind and way of thinking towards a different way of life and to different types of behaviors. And you know, I'm going to do an update video about that, but he talks about discipline being key, and he shares here that it is the master key that unlocks the door to wealth, happiness, culture and sophistication, high self-esteem, high accomplishment, and the accompanying feelings of pride, satisfaction, and success. First, it requires that you develop an awareness of the importance of discipline in your life. It says to start by asking yourself, what do I want to accomplish in my life? And what changes do I need to make in order to attain my goals? So he talks about the importance of dreams and goals. He talks about, setting action points and action plan to achieve your goals and dreams. But there was something else that he shared about the achievement of goals, which few people, I feel, actually talk about. And that is the person you become on the way to achieving your goals and dreams. I know along my own journey, I have become more aware of the person I'm becoming and things that I have changed, strengths that I've been building on, books that I've needed to read to develop more knowledge. All these different things have helped me on my journey this far, and I thought that was so powerful for him to share that, because as I said, very few people actually talk about the becoming. They just talk about the reaching. So recently on my YEME Empowerment Instagram, I shared a quote that I made up: before you can master others, you have to master you. And it's interesting because one of the things that Jim talks about in this book is that you have to master yourself. Jim shares, become master over what you have and what you are. That's where the seeds of greatness are sown. Great wealth, great health, great results, great influence, great lifestyle. Take an interest and delight in doing the small things well. It will then help you to become a sophisticated person. There is a biblical saying that if you will be faithful to a few things, you will someday become ruler over many things. I want to be a sophisticated person. I want to be somebody who chooses the things for my life really, really well. And sophistication doesn't have to do with money. Sophistication isn't about material things. It is about having a value of self and a value of life that enriches not only yourself, but those around you. Sometimes you will get a book that doesn't just require you to read. It requires you to reflect, think, and take stock of your life. This book, Jim talks about so many different things. He talks about action versus self-delusion. He talks about fundamentals, the power of time, recognizing seasons in your life, the wealth and happiness attitude. He also talks about the power of keeping company with the right people, something I've talked about across several videos on this channel, that you are the friends that you keep. So people, there is a saying that says, show me your friends and I'll show you the type of person you are. I am somebody that, and I don't mind admitting this, that I will look on you by the friends that you keep. So you might not be displaying any signs of being a gossiper or a busybody or somebody that loves drama, but if your crowd or your friendship group are all these people, I don't want to be friends with you, because I don't want people like that in my life. And again, it's reiterated in this book, the power of your friendship group. Anything he talks about in here about how to get to be a disciplined person, how to, monitor your friendship groups, how to recognize seasons in your life, how to have a more time efficient way of doing things. In everything he talks about in this book, he gives very easy applicable steps to everything. There's nothing in this book you would say to yourself, I can't do that, I don't think it is possible, because he's broken it down in such a way that even somebody who knew nothing about any of these topics, any of these steps, will be able to understand. So what I loved about this book was absolutely everything. If I had to compile a list of 5 books, 5 of my favorite all-time books that I've ever read, this book here would be one of them. This book should have only taken me about a week to read, a week, 2 weeks max to read, but I took 3 weeks to read this book just because of the wealth of wisdom that Jim Rohn has. It's no wonder that at the time of his passing, his net worth was estimated at $800 million. Not bad for somebody who started their journey towards a disciplined and better life at the age of 25. This is a book that I'm definitely going to read again. It is too precious and too valuable, and I'm glad I paid the £6.83 for this book, because the amount of value that I got from this book is not in circulation anymore. But what I will do is leave a link to the audiobook, which I think is on YouTube, in the description box below, that you can listen to at your own leisure. I would say to you, this book is for anybody that wants to develop themselves, who wants to go up a further step in life, for people who want to know how they can break out of the mold of doing certain things and become the person they want to be, for anybody that wants to have courage to do new things, to take risks, and for anybody who wants to live a sophisticated life. I want to live a sophisticated life. I want to achieve my goals and dreams. So this book is definitely for me, and it will definitely be for you. So that was just my little video on this book. Please check it out, and I shall see you on the next video.